Congressman Tom, Tiffany is here from Wisconsin. Congressman, how are you?
I'm terrific. You?
Very good as well. Thanks for being here. What is the latest with the SAVE Act? We were talking to Emmer the other day, and when it was still kind of up in the air about what's going to happen with it. Where are we at?
Yeah, I think they're trying to round up the votes on this yet to be able to get it attached to a continuing resolution and get that thing over to the Senate. So hopefully leadership is going to be able to accomplish that goal. As far as I know, though, Mike, they're still trying to round up the votes.
It says here the vote on the stopgap spending bill will be delayed. Okay, so that's the thing that they're attaching the SAVE Act to, right? So what's the deal with that, and how are Republicans going to approach the spending thing without getting rolled by the Democrats like we do all the time?
Well, Mike, I will not predict that there will not be a roll that goes on, but I mean, ultimately what we're trying to do is kick the next budget off until we have the next president. Regardless of who the next president is, let's have the voters vote in November about who they want writing the next budgets. I think that when you look at some of the proposals that we put forward, we will do a much better job than the Democrats will. So let's push that off, but let's attach the SAVE Act to it also. And it's very simple. You got to, if for the states, you have to know that someone is here legally in the United States, that they're a citizen in order to register to vote. It's very simple. And Democrats are going crazy about it, and we all know why.
That's right. One other issue of your job, specific job, is this WHO treaty. We've talked a lot about this, but I haven't thought about it in a little bit here. What is the latest with this WHO World Health Treaty?
Yeah, so that bill passed yesterday through the House, now goes on to the Senate. And, very simple bill. It says World Health Organization, which the Biden-Harris administration is trying to strike an agreement on on the pandemic policy for people around the world, including the United States. We're saying, hold it. That's like a treaty. You're giving up American sovereignty to this international organization. This should be treated like a treaty and require a 2/3 vote by the Senate. And so we got it out of the House. It's headed for the Senate. It makes all the sense in the world.
Of course. What do you think was the most noteworthy moment from the debate 2 days ago?
In regards to... Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I've already forgotten about it. Moved on, Mike. So, the most noteworthy thing is that I call it the ABC debate, when we basically had a 3-on-1. I mean, it reminds me of All-Star Wrestling from back in my days when I was a kid, when the good guy at some point was standing in the middle of the ring and there'd be 2 or 3 people coming off the top rope going after him. That's what it reminded me of. And but think about Kamala Harris's message. We got to just turn the page. We got to turn the page. Turn the page from what? Yeah, we want to turn the page, but it's from your policies. And so the message is going to continue in regards to Harris. I think it was another exposure of her. And, so you hear the inside the Beltway people say, oh, God, she clearly won the debate. And in the inside the Beltway jargon, yeah, she probably did win the debate. But that's not who's going to decide this election. The people out there in the real world heard a couple things from President Trump. We need to secure the border, and we got to stop this inflation. And I thought his best answer was on Afghanistan, where he said, you're the guys that failed us there. And the American people, I think, hear that, at least those that are willing to hear it. And so we go on from here, and we continue to expose Vice President Harris for who she is. She's a radical leftist, just as President Trump said.
We spent a good bit of time on the show today with all these lefties at the New Yorker and Mark Lamont Hill and all these other people saying the craziest thing that Donald Trump has ever said and I've ever heard in a debate is that Kamala Harris supports transgender surgery in prisons for illegals. That's so insane. And we have video of her saying it's exactly what she wants. And she wrote that ACLU questionnaire where she said she supports exactly that. So it's a problem when these leftists support these insane things because most people aren't paying attention. So when Trump just accurately describes what they support, he comes across as the lunatic.
Yeah, so...
Not the people who actually support the things.
Well, Mike, there's one thing the American people detest, and I can tell you the people in Wisconsin detest, is when somebody is back at home And they're saying one thing, and then they vote differently in Washington, D.C. Now, we know the mainstream media is not going to deliver the message about how these people are two-faced and voting opposite of what they're telling people back home. But this is our opportunity in the final 7 weeks here to be able to tell the American people and show the American people, especially with paid advertising, that these people are radical leftists. She wants to get rid of private health insurance. She wants to get rid of one of the most important forms of energy production in America. We need to just continue to repeat it and bring it home. And I got to tell you, when you see situations like what happened in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, just south of La Crosse, 5,400 people, and you've got a person that came in and beat a woman up that turns out to be a Venezuelan gang member in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. And it's because in Madison and Minneapolis, they would not issue a detainer, because they're sanctuary cities. As we tell those stories across small-town America, especially small-town Wisconsin, I think Donald Trump's going to win Wisconsin. And if he wins Wisconsin, he's the next president.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 270 to win right now. Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin gets you 272. That's losing Michigan and Pennsylvania. What happened? Tell me that story. I want to make sure we all know about it. What happened?
So the police arrested a person in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. Turns out it was a Venezuelan gang member. The local police chief was able to figure it out. This guy had been had done the same thing, violent crime in Madison. When he came across the border in El Paso in 2023, he went to Minneapolis. He was fencing stolen goods in Minneapolis. They did not ask for ICE to come in and remove him from the country because they're a sanctuary city. He goes on to Madison, and now it's no longer property crimes. It is crimes against people, where he's beating people up. And then somehow he gets to Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, which is maybe an hour to an hour and a half west of Madison, and he beats up a woman there and an underage girl. This is the stuff that's coming to all of America. I mean, think of Springfield, Ohio. I mean, this stuff is coming to Aurora, Colorado. This is coming to every place in America if we don't stop it now. And we got to continue to deliver the message.
It's such a slow motion, although, it's all relative, right? But it's gosh, when this all happened at first, it's way over there. It's at the border, right? And then, it's Chicago. It's like easy to, and then, and we would say, wait till it comes to a town near you. And now it's in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. You're like, what? Like, what is the Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua, doing in Prairie du Chien? Why would that person ever be anywhere near Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin?
Well, think about it, Mike. So, and we're seeing it repeatedly in Wisconsin now. Whitewater, Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin. They had a couple thousand of these people they brought in, and finally the city officials sent a letter to the Biden administration months ago saying, we can't handle this. You got to help us out here. In my district, far northern Wisconsin, about as far away from the border as you can get, there is a guy that was here illegally in a little town, Abbotsford, Wisconsin, shot two underage children, or shot or stabbed them to death just in the last few months. There's a log truck driver way up in northern Wisconsin, Ladysmith, Wisconsin, got ran off the road. He's dead. His three daughters no longer have a father. Second offense, drunk driver, illegal alien. Should have been removed with the first offense. No, they didn't do it. This is coming to everywhere in America.
And I know there's people listening now because it sounds so surreal and insane. Who are maybe Abbotsford, Wisconsin. Like, there's no way you can say, Abbotsford, but it would never happen to my town. Abbotsford? Here, this guy, Victor Manuel Gomez Acosta. This was the other day. Killing his two children, nearly killing his wife, found not competent for trial. It's like, what in the world? What in the world? What are these people doing here? What's the lesson from Springfield, Ohio? I mean, you mentioned all these towns, and you're right, you're here, but everyone's in your state, but everyone's talking about the eating dogs or whatever. It's like, that's not the point. It's 20,000 Haitians in a town of 60,000 people. What is that?
You know how we always talk about how the Democrats, sometimes they seem to be playing chess and we're playing checkers and we're not keeping up with them. They actually took the bait on this. By covering this in regards to, dogs and cats and geese, they have put a spotlight on Springfield now, where when you go beneath the surface of, look at these crazy Republicans talking about the Haitians eating, slaughtering geese and eating them or whatever. Well, first of all, they're all going to find out that it's true. But more importantly, it shines the light on Springfield, Ohio. And people are going, okay, so what's happening there? And it's to the point you just made. 20,000 Haitians in a community of 60,000 people? And then you start seeing some of those average Springfield, Ohio people interviewed, and they're going, yeah, this is really crazy. I mean, car accidents and everything. I mean, it's just bad. The social services are overrun. Our kids' schools, I mean, they're not able to get an education because it's all people that have no grounding in the American society.
And it's not one-off. It's not a family of Haitians. 20,000. And then PBS runs this story from a couple of months ago of the local machine factory that's like, well, we got 30 wonderful Haitian employees. And you're like, well, okay. First of all, why not American? Second of all, 20,000 Haitians need to come in so you can get 30. And we're supposed to be okay with that sort of trade-off? Like, that's insane. All right, Tom, Tiffany, we got to run. I apologize. What's your website and where do you encourage people to go? And let's get active and win Wisconsin.
Yeah, go out at Rep Tiffany. And in Wisconsin, I want you to go talk to hunters that only vote occasionally. Those guys are so busy hunting in the fall. Tell them they got to vote here in this election. And young people are free agents this election, Mike. They've seen the disastrous inflation. They can't afford rent, much less being able to buy a home. They're free agents. We Republicans can win them.
Okay, so it's
Rep Tiffany.
What is it? What's your Twitter?
At Rep Tiffany.
Rep Tiffany. Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right, Congressman Tom Tiffany from northern Wisconsin. Great to talk to you, Tom.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much, Mike.
Have a great day. We'll come back with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Is that making sense? The real issue with immigration, the real issue with the cats and the dogs and the geese. You're like, yes, that's its own thing too. As the Congressman said, will turn out to be true, of course. But what it really is. Let's drive that home for the next 7 weeks.